They're here.
I'm sorry, kids. I don't believe in fairy tales.
Red rum, red rum, red rum.
Welcome to Night Fright. If you love being scared.
Why is it down? Was it supposed to be down, or did you have it?
Yeah.
We're gonna try it down?
Yeah.
I
Are you
remember.
gonna hear it before you can you hear it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I just remember when I said, honey, just lay face down. And that's what we got with this mic. And I'm sure both will not please anyone. So,
And we're recording, by the way.
Oh shit. Okay.
why do you record when I'm saying the dumbest stuff? All right. Hi there, it's Garrett Carter. Welcome to Fright Night. With me is my producer.
That's not the name of the show.
It's not Fright, right?
Can we cut? Can we cut? All right, fine. I was laughing too hard at my dumbass joke earlier. All right. Hi there, I'm Garrett Carter. Welcome to...
It's not Fright.
I know it's Night Fright. You guys are laughing. It's making me fuck up. All right.
You're fucking up all by yourself.
Hey, that's the only way you fuck up. You never succeed. All right, tell me when we're good.
We're good.
We're going insane.
Still running this nightmare?
Yeah.
All right, fine. Hi there, I'm Garrett Carter. Welcome to Night Fright. I'm your host with absolutely no charisma or anything. Let's be honest here. I fucked up the intro to this 6 times probably. With me, joining me is my producer Derek. We're both going to talk about this movie I really, really love. Because I showed it to Kelsey and she fucking hated it. And Nick didn't watch it.
I love Texas Chain Saw Massacre.
Well, you know, Nick, you didn't bring it up beforehand, and now you're the peanut gallery, so watch yourself. All right, Derek. Let's just kind of jump right into it. You, my dear friend, you've seen this movie before multiple times, right?
Yeah, I saw it. Actually, I can remember the first time I saw it.
What was the first time you saw this movie?
Okay, backstory.
Okay.
I'm a giant pussy.
Yes, I've heard everyone call you that.
Yeah, I was terrified of horror movies, scary movies, until probably when I started dating a girl in high school and she made me go see a horror movie.
What horror movie?
I think it was Halloween, the remake
Oh,
of
Rob Zombie?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, fine.
But
By the way, I do remember, I'm sorry to derail you, I do remember the next day you came into, was it geometry? We had with Cisney, I don't remember, yeah.
you sure you're not talking about our stupid English comm skills?
No, it's English comm skills, you're right,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But you came in and you're like, guys, Rob Zombie did it, he nailed it. And I was like, I haven't seen it yet, I don't trust him. But continue, I'm sorry.
But yeah, so I was flipping through the channels and we got IFC for free for like a few months. Randomly
okay.
on IFC, and I'm like, what is this movie?
Mhm.
And why am I still watching this?
Do you remember what year this was?
Ooh, let's think.
Because I think we may have, because...
Probably around 2008.
Okay, yeah, I think we watched this movie for the first time because I've had IFC like most of my life, so I remember like being alone, watching the dogs while my parents were out, and I remember like being like, oh, I've always wanted to watch the first Texas Chainsaw, and in '08 we were like what, sophomores, junior, sophomores, yeah. And you know, you think you're like, this dumb movie from the 70s, this won't affect me. And I remember, you've seen my house, the bathroom, like the light switch is behind the door and we're out in the country, so like there's no like, when it's dark, so
Yeah.
I just remember opening the bathroom door and with no clear way to get to the light switch, just staring at this perfect blank void. And then I just remember going like, I don't like this. And like that's this weird effect, this honestly, it's not a perfect movie, but for some reason
No.
I think it's beautiful and I love it. But
We can get into this.
we
actually
can get into
the
this,
movie.
yes. But sorry, I keep knocking the table as I'm trying to get my Indian style sit perfected. Let me pull up my fucking notes on this.
Cross legs.
Cross
Why
leg.
you be racist every
Time out. I have Native American blood, and I'm just
That
going to
does
leave it.
not matter.
Mm,
So do I, but still.
the two whitest kids are. How?
No.
Yeah, you
You're
get
the whitest
time
kid.
out. You get a tan, and I don't want you to hold that above me on any. I'm sorry the sun hurts, okay?
I don't know that feeling.
Yeah, fuck you. All right. This is where Garrett gets butthurt tonight. All right, so, okay. So the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is roughly 84 minutes.
Yeah.
And oddly, it's a very big representation of a very turbulent time in 70s America. For some reason, this film has a mixture of Vietnam War anger involved, Watergate's in there, fuel shortages. The reason why the film is like very raw and ugly is because we're looking at a very raw and ugly era to a degree.
You also missed one of the moments I put in here that I've always heard the rumor about.
Okay.
That it's about the meat industry.
Uh-huh.
And looking at it in some of the parts, I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. But
Well, there's the whole slaughterhouse conversation.
yeah, and there's the fact that Leatherface, when he first shows up, is using a pig squeal.
That is, which by the way, do you want to just get into Leatherface because he's genuinely iconic? And
Yeah.
I love Leatherface.
We can get into it.
There
Later.
you go. Leatherface.
Finish your little spiel.
My little spiel that I worked so hard on, and we're just gonna call it little. Can impress all the girls, but whoa!
I don't think you've ever impressed a girl.
I've impressed at least 2 women.
Okay, go
I
on.
impressed Heather if you're out there. I love you.
My first grade teacher and my second.
Whoa! That's right. I peaked real fucking early. That nun in Catholic school was really impressed.
Okay.
Nick made that come out of me.
I didn't say that.
All right. Okay, the shooting budget, everything I've read about this film is that the shooting budget was $60,000. And then somehow during editing, everyone now says it's $300,000 or $600,000. So what I'm saying is I have no real sense of what the fucking budget is in this movie.
And
It looks like it's a $60,000.
I was going to say, you can kind of gauge just by watching
Yeah.
the movie. Even looking at movies from the 70s, this one looked a little rough.
Yeah. And I always heard this from Joe Bob Briggs when I watched his show. But I found it also searching online. Apparently it took Toby Hooper 8 months to fucking edit this movie.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah,
Too.
because he was a real meticulous editor. And his backer, who was Bill Parsley, kept calling him being like, hey, Toby, when the fuck is this movie going to be ready? And Toby's like, don't worry. And speaking of him being a meticulous editor, I really enjoy the editing in this movie because it's really smart and it gets around a lot of really graphic stuff, but still making you feel like the horror, like the whole meat hook scene where
I can't think of her name.
it's Pam.
Pam.
When Pam gets put on, played by Terry McKinn. By the way, all the actors here, minus Gunnar Hansen, fucking didn't do anything. Like, I'll take a stand. Marilyn Burns was actually in everything I read. They were like, oh, she was the best extra around, which I don't know if that's a compliment, but I'll take it. But yeah, no one. Gunnar's the only one that does anything, and he's Leatherface, obviously. Yeah. You know, the Icelandic American actor,
The ginormous man.
who's also a poet.
Hey.
Hey, man, he's
Fucking Hodor?
Hodor.
I've never watched Game of Thrones. I'm sorry.
He's a DJ.
Yeah, he's a DJ.
He's a famous DJ.
Yeah, he's a DJ. Hold the door. Fuck that.
And then also, what's his
Hodor.
name?
Sorry, continue.
Grey
But anyway.
Worm is like a famous rapper.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird people out there that you
cool.
don't think would be what they are.
There's a coffee cup in the latest episode of that.
Who the fuck cares?
I'm just saying that guy got paid good money
Let's
to
get,
make.
Let's
sorry,
get back to this.
my rant aside.
I will fall behind in Game of Thrones talk.
Who gives a shit? It's an okay show. All right, so
Controversial.
dragons and
Hot takes. Follow
fucking.
Twitter.
You guys want to see a weird lesbian sex scene? Game of
Anyway.
Thrones. All right, sorry. It's first season.
I don't know.
Little.
Garrett.
Kelsey's over here trying to place the sex scene I'm talking about. Sorry. Okay,
It's a
so.
consensual one.
All right, so
Anyway, back to the 70s.
back to this movie we really like. All right, so this gets into a weird area where Bill Parsley providing the funding for this movie. Parsley formed a company named MAB Inc. And through this, he invested the $60,000, the original $60,000 for the production. In return, NBA owned 50% of this film and its profits, which we'll come back to. It turned out to be a really smart fucking decision. Bill, regarded Gunnar Hansen... I'm sorry. Let me rewind that because I miswrote shit because I'm bad at notes. Gunnar Hansen, I don't know why I wrote it like that. I'm sorry. Gunnar regarded Leatherface as being mentally challenged. And I had to put challenge in parentheses because that's not his quote.
Okay.
A lot
He
of
used
quotes,
a hard R.
Oh, a lot of quotes I read from Gunnar about Leatherface. He's just throwing the R word around like
Well, 70s was a different time.
80s, 90s, early 2000s.
Past weekend.
Everyone
probably
I went to
at a
high
horror-thon.
school with.
Anyway.
And never learned to speak properly. To research this, Hansen visited this special needs school and just watched a bunch of kids move and speak, which leads a great image in my mind of a 6'5" man watching a bunch of dum-dums try to have a conversation.
So you're allowed to say that? That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I feel that's appropriate
I
for
feel
this.
like every episode there's going to be this running thing of you
How
saying
horrible-
something that's going to get you canceled in real life.
Cancel culture.
But anyway, let's get into this movie.
But you know me. You know I'm
Yeah.
just trying to ruffle feathers. Ruffle feathers.
There we go.
IPAs. All right, cool. Yeah. All right, so it was shot on 16 millimeter, which is fine grain, low speed, blah blah blah.
And expensive as shit.
Yes. In most cases, real blood was just used in this fucking movie.
Yeah, I have a note about that here.
Is it the grandpa scene?
Oh no,
Oh, okay.
throughout the entire movie, it's
Uh-huh.
hard to decide what is fake and
Uh-huh.
what is real.
Yeah.
Like,
It's almost like they didn't have money.
yeah, there's a lot of this. It's like, oh, this is super fucked up because I can't tell if this is a fake human skull or a
Uh-huh.
real human skull.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, best case scenario, just say it's real.
yeah, I do have some thoughts about this movie.
Okay, good.
So I'm not gonna lie,
Uh,
I have a soft spot for it because
Uh-huh.
it is one of it is an iconic horror movie.
yes.
Let's be honest.
Mhm.
No matter what, it is like,
For as slow as it is.
oh,
Yes.
it is slow.
It is slow. For as slow as it is, there's this genuine unease that is throughout the entire film. From the opening with the mutilated corpse on top of it.
No, you want to talk opening?
Yeah.
I don't know how they got away with this. This
Oh,
is my
yes.
first note.
Uh-huh.
How did they get away with saying this was based on real events?
A motherfucker, people bought this hook line. So many people. I was on a Reddit feed where a 60-year-old guy like posted something that was like, dude, my dad until the day he died thought this was based on true events and you would never convince him otherwise.
Yeah, and we've all heard those stories of when we're little, that one person who's like, oh, well, I know, blah, blah, blah. Well, my dad works for Nintendo.
Yeah.
That is the code.
I can get a Dreamcast too. You want to fucking prove it?
But
Sorry.
Did you know Sonic is in Smash?
but you've had those people who are like,
He isn't Smash.
Wow. Well, back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah.
there was always that one person who's like, oh yeah, the Texas Chain Saw Massacre guy he's real and he's actually wandering around the country.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's gonna come around here soon.
yeah.
It's supposed to be around his path time. Like, what the fuck?
Fuck, are you on? Well, you know, he was based on Ed Gein. We
Yeah.
always heard Ed Gein. But then, like, I did research, and then, like, Toby Hooper even said, like, he also, like, based a little bit on Dean Corll and Wayne Henley.
Yeah.
You know, the famous Houston boy killers. Saucy.
That's another story.
That's not our topic,
No.
and we don't...
Also, in the opening crawl, because
Yeah.
this is like, I don't know if this was a
By the way,
thing of the 70s.
narrated by John Larroquette.
Really?
That's John, yeah, from Night Court.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's John
Interesting.
Larroquette. And according to John Larroquette, 2 facts about it. I didn't write this down. I just know them off the top of my head. A, he was paid in a fucking joint. Because Toby Hooper.
Oh yeah, I've heard this.
Because Toby Hooper came up to him and was like, "Hey man, can you do an Orson Welles impersonation?" And Larroquette, who needed a payday, lied to him because it sounds nothing like Orson Welles.
But it's a good, deep, dark voice.
As a fan of John Larroquette, I genuinely love Night Court.
Yeah.
I love John Larroquette. I really do. He also had that short-lived John Larroquette show that was good, where he's an alcoholic. But he's really good. He's got a great voice and he reads it really well. And then two, apparently as of like 2012, he like did an interview. He was like, "I've never watched this movie." He's like, "I just did it, got paid to join, and fucking just was like, okay, that's not what I wanted. Cool." But so yeah, that's John Larroquette that does the opening narration.
Interesting. Also, I don't think that indolent means the same thing as it does now as it did in the 70s.
No, it does not.
It's just, they just completely are wrong.
Indolent used to mean immobile.
Okay, because
Yes.
like, invalid now means you're bedridden, you're so sick you can't leave your bed. You can't move at all.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it,
It's
I'm
like a weird gray area.
this guy can still like
Move.
He's he's paralyzed, but he's not
Let's get into
a
it.
hindrance.
Let's time out. They act like he's so.
Oh no! They were such a dick to him throughout this. To Franklin, the brother in the movie.
Thank you. I was pulling up his
They
name.
were such a dick to him throughout the movie.
You want to know why they're a dick to him? Because I looked it up. Paul A. Parton, who plays Franklin, he was a method actor, and he was just an asshole on set to everyone.
Okay.
So that like translates,
But
to a weird degree, that translates, because Gunnar Hansen has a thing where he's like, "I didn't fucking like working with that guy," and then he like met him years later at a convention, and he's like, and Paul was like, "Oh no, I was just being my character," and Gunnar was like, "Oh dude, I just thought you were a dick," like,
because
Sally.
I don't know if he's supposed to be sympathetic, but the amount of times that people
He's
in
not.
this movie
I don't think he's supposed to be.
are fucking dicks to him, I'm like, oh, I kind of feel bad for him.
Oh, Kirk has one of the best lines in the film.
Also, Kirk, I wrote this down
Kirk,
here.
you wrote Kirk down.
Well, it kind of.
Yeah.
Nobody in this, none of these people would be in a movie today because all of them are fucking ugly.
Yeah. Kirk is fucking,
and like,
yeah.
no, I mean, like, if they were around today, they'd be
70s hot is a different level of attraction.
I mean, movie.
Yeah.
They're like worse than me.
No.
I'm not an attractive person.
I believe,
movie-wise.
this is out of term because we recorded out of order, but I said like, oh no, I'm a Deputy Dewey. And so like, that proves my level of attractiveness in Hollywood.
These, like, the only person that could possibly do anything was Kirk until I saw him with his shirt open like this.
Oh, let's talk about
the
this.
amount of
Can we
fucking meat he
Let's talk about the clothing in this movie.
Meat is chest hair.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to talk about clothes?
Let's
I do have
talk
a note on
about
that as well.
Because my dad graduated high school in the 70s, so I look at pictures of him in the 70s with all of his buddies and stuff, and I'm like, this isn't real.
Well,
and then I watch a movie like this, and I'm like, fuck, these people just wore this shit.
Well, I mean, everybody in the movie except for Jerry.
Yes.
Is clothes that they probably would wear today. Like, the girls have decent stuff. Franklin and Kirk both have like jean shirts and jeans on, which has come back into fashion.
Yeah.
I
have a jean shirt.
Fashion mode here. But I mean, and the girls are wearing kind of skimpy stuff. They're like, the one has got this. There's also that. Speaking of clothes,
okay, yeah, let's see.
Very weird shot by Toby Hooper when the girls are getting cokes. Oh, it's so perverted. It's like right up the beehole.
I said yes, like I agreed with Toby Hooper. Said yeah.
Well, if you did, go back and listen to the first episode. Garrett has a whole diatribe about.
I don't want to be. No, I don't want to be demeaned for genuinely enjoying a great erotic scene. You know, this is life. What I'm saying is I agree with you. Where you see that shot, you're like Toby.
I have in my notes here. Jerry is a real dickhead, and.
Jerry also rightfully is murdered the most appropriate way.
Oh yeah, no, he's a fucking dick. Like, okay,
and
we're skipping ahead a lot.
This episode was going to be this, and we both know.
When Jerry, Sally, and Franklin are waiting for like Kirk and I can't think of her name to come back, and then like the entire time Jerry's like, "Nah, he's gonna kill you. He's coming back to kill you." Like it's like the character is a huge dickhead, and it's like. Oh, I can't wait for you to die here in a little bit. And then he wanders off, and my note is, Jerry is a real dickhead and a goober of a dresser. The clothes.
Everyone's a goober of a dresser.
No. He is the worst. Permed afro, which is ginger.
Yeah.
Never a good look. Sorry to all you ginger people out there. The fucking shirt is something that my grandma's couch looked like. The pants are bell bottoms.
Bell bottoms, dude.
Time out.
Tough.
I know. I would own a pair. Like, I will shit on him, but I'll own a pair of bell bottoms or something.
And then the glasses. The fucking glasses.
The glasses are the best.
It's
the Coke bottles.
Hexagonal Coke bottle. Like, it's like, I can't wait for you to die.
I just want you to die. Also,
you're the worst.
He has the best scream ever when Leatherface bursts in on him. Where he, like, looks up and his Leatherface comes in because he finds Pam in the freezer.
Yeah.
And there's that great shock moment where Pam, like, pops up out of the freezer, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, he's like, whoa! And then he turns around, and then Leatherface comes in squealing like a goddamn pig, and he has the best horror scream ever before you're just bludgeoned to death, where he goes, ah! And then he dies. I love it. It's great shit.
I mean, do you want to go back in order, or do we want to just bounce around?
we can try. I mean,
we can go back in order.
It's you and me. We're gonna jump around. We know.
All right, so we can start with the starting.
Yeah. We got Larroquette's opening narration.
Yeah.
Where he talks about, fucking 70s and shit like that.
Yeah. And then they start with that iconic fucking sting.
Oh, the best fucking one.
Like, it's in all the movies, that sting that is... Yeah. And then...
That was a very poor imitation, but yeah.
Weird fucking background stuff over, like, the weird body pictures that they show.
Which is a real dead body.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're taking flashbulb photos of a real dead body.
Yeah.
Yeah, you watch that. Enjoy that.
Yeah. It's weird. It's also, the 70s where you could get away with that shit.
Listen, when you have $60,000 and just pure ambition, you're like, we need corpses everywhere. So, and then we do the thing where we come out of all of that.
Also, that is just barely connected in the movie. Like, in the end, that is like the weird part with the radio voiceover is like, oh, this is this and this.
Oh, the grave robbing?
Yeah, the grave robbing.
Yeah, it's a throwaway line at the end.
It really is. It's like, is that just put in for...
We'll get to... Is that their dad, the gas station? I've always read it as their dad.
The family? Like Leatherface's dad and everything?
Yeah, the gas station owner.
Yeah, that's what I've kind of read it as.
Because they always call the old man Grandpa, so I assume it's... We'll get into that shit in a minute. We're going to run long on this because this is... Yeah, but this movie deserves it, I feel like. The best that two jackasses can give it.
But, like, yeah, and then it goes into the opening credits. Which is... What the fuck is the background of that?
I don't know, and I love it. Like, it's weird.
Like, it's trippy as shit. Like, I would hate to be the person who's like, oh, let me take acid and go into this. You start off terrible.
You're talking about Toby Hooper, and you fucking know what he was doing. And then we get to my favorite shot of the whole thing, which is, it drastically feels so different than the rest of the movie, like lighting and cinematography, like, wise and all that, like how it's like set up, is like the weird herky-jerky corpse on top of like the tombstone.
Yeah, that's the weird part.
But like when it pulls back and you see it, you're like, what the fuck is gonna go on in this dumb movie? Like,
yeah, it starts off with a I think that's like Toby Hooper's warning of, oh, this movie's gonna be not.
But like, and I read like stories where it's like people leave Texas Chain Saw Massacre.
Yeah,
and that's the scene they leave on, and I'm like, I've seen way worse shit.
Yeah, I think it's a time. It's a time thing. The times, because like I have in my notes like there is not as much blood as like movies of today, or like there's barely any blood. Well,
my dad went and seen this movie because it like came out like right when he got out of high school, right? And so I talked to him about it, and my dad told me about like how this was one of the most shocking things he ever like watched and shit. And like, and as much love as I'm going to like gush over this movie about, like at the end of the day, I'm like, it still isn't the most violent movie I've ever watched on any level. It's psychologically scarring to a point, but
I do think it set the tone of.
Yeah.
Helps set the tone of fucking scary ass shit starting off. But, yeah. Also, so they're in the van.
Yeah.
and they're driving, which...
By the way, I think this is the originator of a bunch of dumb teens, early 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we'll go do this dumb shit out nowhere. Like, I think this is the originator of that, I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
Yeah.
I do have... I don't know... Like, I haven't watched a lot of horror movies before this.
Uh-huh.
Like, because
that's
most
where
of
we're
them are,
different.
like, monster movies in that way. And
Like
that, and then,
Godzilla.
like,
Yeah.
the zombie.
Yeah.
There's no, like, serial killer movie
Yeah,
before
true.
that.
But like
That I
this-
can think of.
the serial killer movie, like
Psycho.
before the Psycho, you got Peeping Tom, but like those killer movies, you're right. It's not the teens. It's these in some cases elegant people, or like in Psycho,
Well,
they're
this
grown adults with other shit going on.
serial killer's not the word I wanted to use. I just
Slasher.
thought slasher.
Slasher, yes.
It's a slasher.
There are some people that argue that this is the first slasher movie.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'm a big proponent that Peeping Tom is kind of the first slasher movie.
Okay.
Psycho, I get the argument,
I don't
but
think
Psycho's not.
Psycho's more of a psychological thriller.
It's more of a thriller. It's more of a suspense movie.
Yes.
Peeping Tom is a movie where it starts to kind of. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't formulate the rules, but it starts to kind of set them in ground. You know, there's a final girl in it. There's the final girl's mother who's blind. I'm getting too
But
ahead
anyway.
of myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't Peeping Tom.
Speaking of slasher movies, like
Yeah.
the one that like you see in like Wrong Turn, they make fun of
Wrong
it
Turn.
in Cabin in the Woods.
Yes.
The
Mhm.
old man that warns.
that warns them.
I think this is the first instance of that
Ooh,
that I
I'm-
can think of.
I'm going back in my database, and I think you might be right. on
Because
this, yes.
there's that when they show
Does
up
he
at the
really
cemetery.
warn them,
Well,
though?
when he shows up at the cemetery, there's that old drunk guy who's sitting in the tire.
You know who that old drunk guy is sitting in the tire?
No.
He's columnist John Henry Falk, who was blacklisted during the
He was
McCarthy.
they called him a commie.
Yeah, McCarthy's
Cool.
Red Scare.
Good for him that he
That
got back
guy,
out.
he's a humorist, and there's no right or reason for him to be in this movie.
Yeah. He is like a lot of weird things happen out here. You shouldn't come out here.
You shouldn't come out.
Like he's drunk and
Oh,
like,
that's who
laying
you.
back.
I thought you were
Yeah.
gonna bring up the old man that runs the gas station.
No,
I was
no.
He wants them to. Also, he's trying to sell them the barbecue, and like in hindsight, you're like, that's obviously human meat.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Especially when Franklin starts eating it and has that weird expression on his face.
I forget Franklin fucking eats the barbecue every time.
But
Well, also,
we
he
jumped
lo-
ahead of
I'm
probably
so- I'm
my
s-
favorite person in the movie,
Yes.
the fucking hitchhiker brother.
Yes, thank you. I have so many notes on him.
He is the best because
He
like
is. Hold on. What's his name? Here, let me get Edwin Neal. I even put like Edwin Neal space hitchhiker space. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Because Edwin Neal was a student of, I believe, the University of Texas, and Edwin Neal was walking on campus drunk, and he was a member of like the theater program, right?
Mhm.
And one of the girls he knew was like, "Hey Ed, are you gonna go try out for the movie?" Because Toby went to fucking colleges and shit to try to get people.
smart.
Well, they'll take any payment. So he's like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So he shows up to this thing a little bit drunk, and then Toby's like, "Can you act weird?" And then, according to legend, John had a family member that was schizophrenic. So he just started mimicking what his cousin or whatever that was schizophrenic would do. And Toby Hooper went, "That's it right there." Like a weird, a weird Scorsese like record scratch, like that guy's got the stuff like moment. Like,
He is perfect as
Is
a
that-
weirdo hitchhiker.
is that blood or a birthmark on his face?
I think it's blood.
Is it blood? I always thought it was a birthmark.
Yeah, well, the first time I saw it, I kind of get that, but like, he continually cuts himself,
That is
and is
true.
obsessed with blood.
Oh,
in the
he
van.
takes the picture of Franklin. He's like, "That's $20 now."
$2,
It's $2. Okay,
probably
yeah.
$20 back then,
Yeah, true,
comparatively.
true. I'm not gonna do a conversion rate, but yeah.
Inflation right now.
But yeah, and I don't mean to like. This might sound controversial.
You're on a podcast with me. Go
The
for it.
hitchhiker looks so much like James Franco. It's weird.
Oh God, if
I was looking at it, I was like,
If you
is
remade
this
the
time
movie-
traveler James Franco? Like, he's a weirdo. Maybe he figured out time travel.
the Green Goblin.
well, yeah. No, he's Harry Osborn, not the.
But yeah,
I know Harry becomes the Green Goblin. Well, I'm saying, yeah.
yeah.
he's genuinely. I feel like I say this a lot, where I call multiple people the best parts of movies, but like, the Hitchhiker is such a fucking. God damn!
He's the best actor in the entire movie.
When he gets kicked out, we'll get to him at the end.
Yeah.
But his whole shit at the end is just iconic.
Oh yeah.
When he gets kicked out of the van, though, and he just starts smearing blood on it, he's like, "Oh goddamn!" And then he starts talking about like, "No, you kill the cows with a hammer.
Yeah.
Takes jobs away from good people." Like I'm like, dude, fuck this guy. Get him out of your fucking thing. I remember watching it this week, and as I was watching it, my dad will watch any movie with me, for better or worse. But I was watching, and I was like, "Did you ever pick a hitchhiker up?" And my dad was like, "Fuck no." Hitchhikers were fucking this guy, and I was like, "Yeah, all right, cool."
Yeah, like even today, like I feel bad not picking up hitchhikers, but it's like
it's illegal. You can't hitchhike.
But it's like I'm not gonna do it because I read too many books about serial killers and
thank you.
Watch horror movies now.
Do not pick up a hitchhiker and do not hitchhike. Guess what?
Unless they're coming out of prison, those guys just need them. I'm kidding. Don't
no,
do that.
No. They will give that guy a bus ride. It's his fault that he has to. No, they give those guys a bus ride. But anyway,
we'll get back into.
Sorry. Anywho, okay. So they kick the hitchhiker out, and then
they go to that gas station, and this is where I wrote down. How many of these extras were actually actors?
None of them.
Exactly. Because the fucking dude who washes their the windshield is the strangest man.
Which I want to know about him. Because he's working for a horrible cannibalistic killer.
Like, I couldn't tell if he was slow.
He's slow, Derek.
Yeah, you could kind of tell he was slow, but like, the way he did stuff, it was like, oh, this is perfect. This is what a real person looks like.
Yeah. Because Toby showed up there and was like, "Hey man, do you want to be in a movie?" Because he had $60,000 to make this thing.
Yeah, he paid people off in weed and beer.
That John Larroquette.
Yep. Yeah. And yeah, that's the moment where I realized, oh, there's no.
We just skipped over someone I love, which is when they show up to the cemetery, because the whole crux of this is like there's been these grave robbings.
Oh
right?
yeah, and they're going to see Franklin and Sally's dad.
Grandfather's grave. And then they're greeted by this guy who I don't think I wrote down the random fucking man that played him, but he like grabs Sally and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna steal your girlfriend for a bit.
Oh, he's supposed to be the sheriff.
That's supposed to be the sheriff.
I think so.
I've seen this movie at least fucking 12 times, and that's supposed to be the sheriff?
Because like there's that offhanded thing that those the farmers in the truck say. It's like, oh, the sheriff will show you where it's at.
Interesting.
I'm not gonna lie. I literally I texted Garrett. He texted me and he goes, "Hey, come on over whenever you're ready to set up." He said, "Oh, I'll be there in a few minutes. I got a couple things." I was finishing the movie, so yeah, this is fresh in my brain.
That is true. But you know, I don't. Maybe I'm just so used to like, yeah, no, this is what a sheriff looks like in a movie. So
yeah.
Like, I don't know. Once again, Toby was working with kind of nothing when you really think of it. Well, okay, so in here we rewind. Well, let's fast forward all the way to. So they go to the house.
Yeah, okay, that house. When they show up there, I have a question of a scene that was cut. Mm-hmm. Was there a scene that was cut? Because all of them except for Franklin act like they're so fucking high. I don't like they're laughing at like Sally's like, "Oh, this is where my grandma used to let me sleep. Oh, she's dead now. Well, how's she doing? She's dead." And then they laugh like fucking maniac. Like, what is that even about?
No, you question that. But I focus on the scene where Franklin rolls into the house.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's like, "Hey, come on, Franklin, it'd be so fun." And then he starts like blowing raspberry.
My favorite part.
Yes. If I have any more fun, I think I just might die. I fucking love Franklin in this movie.
And I feel like the part where he's rolling into the next room and nails his arm is a complete accident.
Well, he fucking sells it, which is why I think, which is you're like, oh, that's not good acting. That's just, oh, fuck my arm.
Yeah.
But, so no, there's Franklin, and then we get to the great bit where the generator's going, and Kim and fucking...
Kirk.
Is it Kirk or is it Jerry?
Kirk.
Jerry's
with Sally.
I get the two white dudes confused.
I know Kirk because that dude looked like a young Chuck Norris.
That is true. He
The
does.
chest hair, the no mustache, the bowl cut.
Yeah.
Chuck Norris
All
from
the way.
like the Jackie Chan movies.
Yeah.
Or not Jackie Chan, the Bruce Lee movies.
Bruce Lee movies, yeah. Oh, the one where Bruce Lee fucking murders his ass.
It's true.
Yeah, it is a fact. But they show up and he's like, "What's that sound?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, Texas Chain Saw. We're gonna see a fucking chainsaw." And he pulls the sheet away and it's like a generator, and you're like, "What the fuck they using that generator?" I think that's a good part of the film because they're like, okay, but what are they using that fucking generator for in this weird broken down house?
And they kind of like there. It's like a shot that
Mm-hmm.
kind of shows that this has been happening for a very long time. Because they like Kirk removes like I think it's like a piece of tarp or something, and like you can see all these cars back here, and it's like that's why like they've been doing this for a long time.
Listen, if you have a blank screen in front of you to tell a story, you're like, where the fuck do I start? If you have $60,000 to tell a story, you're like, okay, here's how we're gonna do this and this and this, and I think that's the big benefit that I'm gonna see about this movie is like. They do really smart, subtle shit like just show the fucking cars.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, how long has this been going on in hindsight and shit like that? Like, and then we get to the bone. I'm sorry, we're gonna jump past my favorite kill in this entire movie.
First kill. The first kill.
The first kill and the best kill in this movie that we can argue.
It comes out of fucking
nowhere. Thank you.
Like, I said this earlier. I think this is where I thought like that people kind of got the idea of this was an allegory for the meat industry.
Yeah.
Because freaking Leatherface is like taunting him, like luring him in with like this pig sound.
Yeah.
Like.
But this is also like one of those moments where like. It's like a weird horror thing where you're normally like always like, what are you doing, idiot? Don't go. But like you put yourself in those shoes and you're hearing that shit. You would be tempted to be like, what the fuck is that sound?
And like today's audience would look at that and be like, oh, why is the door open? Why would you just walk in?
Because he's not going to open the door.
Also, it's the 70s.
Yeah.
Before fucking the Night Stalker.
Thank you. I had a thing where my dad was like, yeah, you just fucking walked in houses.
People just fucking would do that. Like, the Manson murders, go back to that.
Yeah.
They would just, because no one left their doors locked at all, they would go in there, move all the furniture, not steal shit, just move the furniture.
Yeah.
And, like, that's all they would do.
Yeah. Fucking Richie Ramirez, who just walked in.
So you're playing with the bottle cap.
I was playing with the bottle caps, and Derek's producer brain had a fire. Sorry, continue.
But yeah, they would just, like, he would walk in and murder people, and that's when people started locking their doors. Mm-hmm. But
Bye, dogs.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so he like lures him into the red room, which also is the only room that has color.
Yes.
I don't know if you noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the little hallway between that and like the slaughter room.
Yeah.
Is the only room in the whole house that has color.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't know if that meant anything or just this house happened to have
let's
one
just feel
wall.
smart and think it means something. It could be Toby's like, fuck, we ran out of paint to paint this house.
Also, it was fucking brutal to kill. Sledgehammer over the head.
Yeah, because fucking Kirk just like walks and then he's on that little ramp and I can still hear his footsteps on the ramp. It's just the sound in this movie is impeccable.
Oh yeah, whoever did sound editing for it did a very good job.
And also, but the score, the famous like flashbulb, like that whole thing, that's great still. But so like Kirk's like walking on that little mini ramp into the room, and then Leatherface, boom, appears, boom, fucking sledgehammer to the fucking dome, and then Kirk drops, and then he just starts to convulse.
He has a death rattle.
And then Leatherface has to bash him in the head one more time to shut his ass up.
Yeah.
And
it's kind of funny.
Continue, I'm sorry.
You mentioned the sound editing and everything. There's no music.
Yeah, thank you.
In this movie. Yeah. And that makes I think that's what helped makes this movie so much more, oh, what the fuck is going on? Like, it's like...
I thought you
No.
You were on the computer when you said that. I was like, what happened? Sorry.
It's like, what's going on? Like, in today's horror movies,
that
scene would have been... a song, like something playing, then all of a sudden he pops up and
like
music
fucking
stops.
Crimson and Clover's fucking playing.
Or like just a low level, like generic freaking
like a fucking bass beat or something like that. Yeah.
But like I think that makes it even more scary, and that makes the jump scare that comes in later in the movie even more fucking scary. Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna try not to keep bringing up the remakes because we'll probably get to them at some point. But like the opening of the remake starts with like fucking blaring "Sweet Home Alabama," and
well,
like
that is something that they could have done.
that's cool. Yeah, that's
because like I thought at the beginning of the movie where they were listening to like a radio broad, what fucking group of kids in the 70s was listening to news radio?
I think we're a little bit spoiled, is what I because
No, they would not listen to news radio.
I don't
Even
know.
if all they had was an AM radio. I worked for a radio station.
All right.
Back then, they had fucking music on the AM
I'm just
side.
saying, it could be like they just got done listening to some sweet tunes, and then now comes this fucking like.
I think you're apologizing.
I am apologize. That's what my specialty is. I apologize for everyone and everything.
But anyway.
Anywho, so okay, so
And then,
but no, the kill's just fucking fantastic.
oh, it's amazing. And then it goes straight. I don't know why.
They spend no time on it.
No, they spend no, and they go straight to the next kill,
Yeah.
where she gets her freaking
Hold on.
back put on the
But
meat
that
hook.
before we get to the meat hook, there's that scene where she tries to run out
Oh,
of
the
the house.
most iconic scene in the movie.
Yeah. That beautiful frame when you put up that. I do want my head on her like body as Leatherface is pulling. That's a good fucking
Yeah,
shot.
the size difference between those two
Yes.
is insane.
Yeah.
This girl, and then like he grabs her around the waist as she's like both arms and legs stretched out, like desperately trying to crawl herself back out of
Yeah,
the house,
and,
like out of the house.
It's a great shot because it like shows that he's also the first plus sized,
Yeah.
and I think the only plus sized.
What year of Jason do you want to? Well, Jason's got some muscle.
I was gonna say even Jason, like people may say that he's fucking supposed to be jacked.
For a dead dude, he's got great traps.
Yeah, like even the guys who play him are all bodybuilders.
Kane
old-
fucking Hodder, yeah,
they're
yeah.
all huge dudes. They're
Yeah.
not fucking a fat guy.
Gunner was a fat dude that was 6'4", 6'5".
Still a fat
yeah.
guy.
Not anymore.
Till the
He's-
day he died.
Thank you. There you go. Good recovery.
He's dead.
Derek always lands on his feet.
Yeah. But yeah, like that's something I love about this, that like it has all these like things that's like, oh, this is supposed to be like this is like, looking back on it now, it's like, oh, this is awesome because it's different.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Hey, so-
also we were talking about the blood.
yeah.
She gets hooked on that meat hook. No
No
blood.
blood.
None.
I don't know where well, the whole scene I have with blood is gonna be at the end, but no, that meat hook scene's really interesting because Tobe Hooper wanted this movie to be PG,
Which
Because
is weird.
which is weird, but like
But this is before PG-13.
before PG-13. PG-13 didn't come around until Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom made everyone look at each other and go like, okay, we need something in between.
Yeah, like Jaws.
Because
I think
dude,
Jaws is PG.
Jaws should, and I love Jaws to death. Jaws should be an R-rated
It
movie.
starts out with a naked girl swimming.
Getting ripped to shreds.
Yes.
She almost broke her back in that. This is not the Jaws
Anyway,
episode.
yeah.
Sorry. But there's a great story where Toby calls like the MPAA, those idiots, and he's like, "Hey, so I want this movie to be PG," and the woman goes, "Okay," and he goes, "But I have a woman that's supposed to be hung on a meat hook." And then there's just silence on the other end of the phone. And he's like, I don't think this is going to happen, is it? And she
Yeah.
goes, well, it would help you if we see no penetration. So that's why I didn't count the number of cuts that are in that scene. But he has like fucking what? Like 8, 10 cuts?
Oh yeah, like there's a lot of weird things in this, like
Dude.
editing wise, of like cuts. I'll get more into that
Yeah,
later.
yeah. But like,
yeah.
to a degree, it works insanely well. Because while you never see the meat hook penetrate her, I don't know if I may have said this in the beginning of the episode, but you never see the penetration of the meat hook, but the editing still makes you like in your seat go, ooh, goddamn.
Yeah,
every
no,
time,
like, it's
every fucking
still-
time. I've seen this movie, what did I say, 12 times? And this week when I watched it and she gets put on that meat hook, I still go, ooh, goddamn.
I think it's still a thing of like, because like I always heard the rumors about this movie, like it was one of those movies where they told people, you know, remember it's just a movie.
Yeah.
What was the first movie that said that was like, keep repeating to yourself, it's just a movie?
Exorcist, maybe?
Ooh, no, he's right. It's Exorcist,
Yeah,
probably.
but like this was one of those movies where people were like,
This is just
it's just a, you can't, like, it's freaking people out so bad, and looking at it, it's like there's no blood,
Mm-hmm.
and all the like violence is really implied violence.
Yeah. I didn't.
And I think that helps it.
I didn't come across it in my research, and I'm not quite sure. I wish I figured this in. Was this a video nasty over in the UK? Because they had the famous like list of movies that were like, oh no, that's a video nasty that it can't be sold. Because I know the original Evil Dead was one, and I know Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer was one. I feel like this film may have been one of those in that situation. I don't know why that popped in my head at the moment, but
I'll try to do my producing job.
With one hand.
In Sweden, it was.
Okay.
But like, yeah, like it's one of those movies. Looking back, it's like there's no way that this was. But like even like the violence it shows implied, I think, is the reason it gets so like.
Yeah.
Under your skin.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like, and we go back to the Kirk kill. Like, sure, like, due to editing, like, we feel the hit of the sledgehammer, but we really don't see the sledgehammer hit him square on the head. There are movies, and like, if I made a movie, I would show the fucking sledgehammer hitting him on the head and like splitting his fucking skull.
Yeah.
But this film like edits around that to the way where you still like, oh, and you still feel it, and then like, but then it's also like the little things like. Kirk, like how he convulses, makes you feel the hit, and like
it's one of the most real kills I've seen because like apparently when you do have brain trauma and you're dying, you convulse.
Yeah, and Terry McKinn, when she's put on that fucking meat hook, she screams bloody murder.
There's a lot of screaming in this
Listen,
movie.
And I get that because I had Kelsey yell at me about it, but. I'm going to defend the screaming.
I have one part where it's indefensible, and we'll get to it.
Okay, that is fair. You know my argument where I'm like, yeah, there's this psychopath putting you on fucking meat hooks chasing you with a chainsaw. Anyway,
so Jerry goes and fucking looks for him.
Oh, right? He finds the bone room.
Yeah.
No, wait. Pam finds the bone.
Which I have in here.
The bone room's terrific.
Probably not as scary now as it was back then because I'm looking at it, it's like... Yeah, there's bones. Yeah, it's like, but they're clean bones. And it's like, it's just feathers, and it's just kind of dirty.
Yeah, most of the bones and furniture in this, I have this somewhere in my fucking weird paragraph. Most of this shit's just animal bones.
Yeah, which you can tell.
Yeah, which you can tell. Also, research ruins that where I'm like, yeah, I get it. Fucking like chicken, like move on. But anyway, continue.
But anyway, so. Like, she finds that room, and then, like, fucking Leatherface... That's when Leatherface grabs her and does that iconic pull.
Bear hug
on,
back.
T-shirts and shit.
I might get that on T-shirt. We'll discuss this.
I'm sure there is a T-shirt somewhere out there with it.
I've almost bought, like, a 3/4, like, sleeve, like, shirt where it's just, like, the poster where the girl's, like...
Oh, yeah.
And he's revving up the chainsaw. Anyway, continue. That's such a great movie.
I'm not the host.
All right, continue.
You were in the middle of a thought.
No, I wasn't. I finished my thought.
Oh, you finished your thought? All right, great. I don't know. I'm just yelling at people now.
Next point.
Next!
Right.
So we get through all the, So Jared comes in, and he opens the freezer.
Which...
Great scare!
It's scary. It's a good jump scare and everything. But one, she's fucking dead. Also, or she's passed the fuck out. Who's knocking?
Yeah.
Who is knocking?
Yeah. Because how she sells it is she's dead asleep.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm sorry, she's passed out in shock.
Passed out in shock or like something like that.
And
then,
so
like,
Jerry pops it open and then like there's a brief second and then she goes, "Ah!" And then she, which is great. It works really well because then like smash right to Leatherface coming in squealing like a pig as I previously covered and bashing his head in. But like, you're right. You're like, okay, who the fuck's knocking? But like.
But I'll give Toby Hooper that he makes up for it with the very next shot. Like after he kills Jerry, he kind of shows that Leatherface has it's a side of a movie monster.
Thank you.
You've probably never seen where he reflects on it. Like he goes into that corner and like, I'm gonna do visual, but no one. Listening can see that.
Yeah. You know, great for an audio format, but continue.
But he's like huddled up in this corner like this, kind of like rocking back and forth. And like
he also like kind of like darts around to see if maybe anyone heard this.
Yeah, he opened up the blinds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is
it shows a different side to a monster that you never see.
This is why I like Leatherface, even with all the stupid forms of Leatherface we may get to in future installments. But like Leatherface. It goes back to him being a mentally challenged child because he acts like a child would. Yeah. Like, did you ever hit your brother and he started to cry and you ran around being like, oh fuck, I hope mom and dad didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what Leatherface is doing.
Yeah.
And then so then we go right to It's Dark Out, and then Sally, and we knew we were gonna go over in this. Why are you looking? We got Sally.
Sorry.
You're fine. I mean we're here. We have Sally and Franklin.
Yeah,
And
okay.
This
is where like,
dumbest film argument ever.
yeah, but like Franklin's the only fucking smart one in the movie.
Yeah. and
He's like, no, let's just let's go to the gas station,
yeah.
get gas,
Yeah.
or like get help
Yeah.
because our friends are missing
Yeah.
in the dark in the middle of rural
And
Texas.
Sally is like, no, let's just go
Yeah,
into the
and then,
middle
like,
of the night.
And then like he's
And
like,
she's-
no, let's stay here. Then he like compromises, like let's stay here.
Yeah.
That is one thing. Like for all you people out there who haven't traversed the woods, if somebody gets lost, stay put. Don't fucking wander.
It is so much easier to find a stationary target
Yes.
than a moving one.
And like especially at a marker point like that, like maybe they are lost, but
Yeah.
if they see the house, they'll know exactly
Yeah.
where they're going.
And it also like, and then it goes back to like the dynamic of like, I've always thought it was funny how they treated Franklin like shit, but like it goes into like now we're dissecting and we're looking at, boy, Sally's not a good sister.
Oh no, she's a terrible sister.
And this is coming from like me and my brother show love by yelling at each other and fighting and wrestling. But like if it's that moment, me and Jacob aren't acting like me and my brother aren't acting like this. Sally's straight up like being like, Franklin, you fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
We're gonna go like. She's like, no, Franklin, I can't push you, you fucking crip. Like, that's what she's, like,
Yeah.
saying to him.
But like,
Oh, god damn, they kick on him so hard in this
and also
movie.
this is where I think, oh, Jerry's even bigger of a dickhead. The motherfucker took the keys with him.
Oh, yep, that is a good, yep.
So fuck Jerry.
Well, Jerry got his head bashed in by a squealing pig man.
Good.
So, good. I'm glad this fictional character died.
But yeah.
So then they stop bitching and she starts pushing Franklin through the brush, and I'll let you tell this because it's genuinely a great moment.
Yeah. Well, side note.
Yeah.
Shooting wise,
like
I've done shooting at night, and it is fucking
same
headache.
Oh, same here.
But you can tell that like they didn't have lights. Like everything that's shot, like the lights, which I think like inadvertently helps the movie.
Yes.
Because you get that feeling of, oh, it's fucking dark, and the only light you're seeing is from that
The
flashlight.
And then like you're in this dark scene, all you got is the flashlight, and then you quietly start to hear the fucking chainsaw.
Yeah, and then like,
and
even though you know it's fucking coming.
Yeah, you know that's a chainsaw, but then your brain works yourself to the moment where you're like, Franklin doesn't know that's a fucking chainsaw.
Well, Franklin, like, that's another point where I was like, this movie gave me a jump scare that scared the shit out of me at a moment. Like, I even knew it was coming.
Exactly.
And, like, he throws the light over. He's like, well, let me look. And then, like, into his body.
Yeah, Leatherface is right there, right up in that skin mask of his, and he just fucking puts it right in the handicapped boy's chest. And you went, well, you don't kill the child, and you don't kill the disabled kid. And this is...
They fucking killed the disabled
they killed the disabled kid. And then that leads to one of the best parts of the movie, where Marilyn just starts running through trees and the brush screaming. And the reason why she's screaming is because in real life, she is being cut and bruised by everything she is running through.
Yeah, they're in the brush in fucking rural
on
Texas.
once again, I know I keep bringing it up, on a nothing budget comparatively.
Well, this is also a point where, like I just said, the good of not being able to film outside properly. This is the bad, because you kind of can't tell what's going on in moments. It's like, she's running around, but like
you get shapes
of
it. Yeah,
you're not really sure what's going on.
And then she gets to the gas station.
Yeah.
And the gas station is a really tough scene to watch because...
No, she doesn't get to the gas station yet.
Oh, that's right. She goes into the fucking
goes in the house.
Yeah, and she jumps
Good
out.
thing I wrote this down.
Thank you.
Because
I was going to cut right to the broom, and you know why I was going to cut to the broom.
But fucking... She
jumps.
goes up. She goes up into the grandparents' room. Mm-hmm. And, like, originally watching that, it's like, oh, this is just like fucking Psycho.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was maybe an homage to Psycho.
Yeah.
Because you got both grandparents First time you see it, it's like, oh, these two fuckers are dead.
Yeah.
And just chilling up here.
Yeah.
Which is gross and weird. And then, like, she does a move that, oh my god, if this was in a comedy, that would be the big laugh moment. Runs straight out that fucking window.
But like, but
no hesitation.
But I applaud her for that because part of me would hesitate running through that window. So, but then I don't know if it's that because there's a shocker spoiler. There's another moment later in the film where she jumps through another fucking window.
Oh yeah, that's in my notes where I say, what the fuck is up with her and jumping out of windows?
Well, she's a pure survivor, and we're gonna give it to. One of the times she jumps out of the window is Toby Hooper wearing a wig.
It was probably the first one because that was the one where she jumped out of the second story window.
And she fucking hits hard.
Yeah.
And you can tell on camera, you're like, oof, that's not a good landing. Yeah. And then she gets to the gas station through it.
And I love the reveal. I think this was done perfectly.
Perfectly.
Because we talked about it a little bit earlier when they first showed up at the gas station. He was actually like, oh no, you don't want to wander around there. Like, kind of being friendly.
He's like, don't bring this on yourself.
Yeah, he's like, if you stay, it's your fault.
If you study any like former serial killers, like there's always a moment in some type of serial killer like thought process or psychology where they like are like, don't bring this on yourself.
Yeah,
where
they want to make it your fault.
Exactly, where he's like, I'm giving you a warning when it's not a warning, he's
like, boys, there's no reason for that. And then like when he couldn't convince the boys, he's like, these girls don't need to be out there.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
And turns around, it's fucking dangerous.
I might have 2 sons that have issues. Just leave
Well, that's even funnier because like skipping ahead a little bit, we'll get back to the bag. Yeah. But skipping ahead a little bit, like the reveal of him being part of the family, the hitchhiker, was a little thrown together, but I liked.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah, it makes sense, but I also like.
But that's also because Edwin Neal is such a great fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
That you're like,
watching that movie, I felt like those two people were related. Like the dad and then the hitchhiker.
Yeah.
They look very similar.
I cannot convey to you over microphone how I love his little.
They were supposed to be brothers.
Well, that's the thing that the movie never really explains.
Yeah, they never really address. It's just like
I just kind of figured because he's older.
How his body just moves. Like it is. I can't. It's a great stopping point in a conversation, but fuck, it's brilliant.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Go to the broom. I know you want to talk about the broom
because it's great. Because so when the old man, because that's what he's credited as, is the old man Jim Seidel, who is a stage actor, and I don't think he really did any other films.
Like, he feels like the kind of guy who was in, like, Andy Griffith.
Yeah, thank you, yeah. He's he's a true blue, like, stage actor that, like, I think worked on the New York circuit or something like that. And, he reveals himself to be part of the family, of this family. He makes it, his reveal makes you go, like, oh, this is a family affair, basically. Yeah. And he's trying to get her in this burlap sack, and he's got a broom. He's like, now just come on now. And Marilyn, of course, Sally, is being a true blue final girl and not taking the shit and fighting it. Then that leads to a scene where he beats her with the broom, and he, like, legitimately hits her with this broom. And it makes me uncomfortable every time I watch it.
Yeah. Like,
he gives her a concussion. Like, I have no backup for that. But it feels like he gives her an honest-to-God CTE from, like, one of the strikes. Because she hits the ground, like, and you're like, oh, that's not acting. But,
it's like, it kind of just feels like, if you've never seen the movie before, it could be a thing of, oh, this entire town is just full of fucking terrible people that want to kill you or rape you. Because he felt a little fucking rapey.
Oh, yeah. Once again, it's that smile. Yeah.
And also, this is also where you can see it's a 70s movie. They show the entire bagging process.
Yes.
Him cutting the rope, putting it over her body. That's one of those things where it's like, if it was today's movie, it would have cut straight to them in the truck.
Well, there's the thing where, and I love this scene. It is such a great touch. He throws her in the car. And then he leaves her alone in the car. And he goes back and he turns off the lights in the gas station, and then he comes back to her, the kidnapped victim, and he's like, sorry, the price of electricity, and just bitches about the price of electricity. And I'm like, that's a moment. That's a genuine moment.
That was probably ad-libbed on set.
That's great, though. I love it. And then so we get to the house, and then, well, okay, let's not gloss over the brilliant thing of, like, when the old man gets back to the house.
Well,
sorry.
Yeah, they do it perfectly. They show him driving. Like, he's just kind of driving. You're like, okay, what other... like, this could, like, just looking at it, could have been just, like, what they wanted Halloween to be.
Yeah.
A bunch of different shitty things happening.
Uh-huh.
But it's like, it goes straight...
I just love the love in your voice when you said shitty.
Shitty,
so, yeah.
But, like, it reveals that, oh, that's the house from earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the hitchhiker's there. Oh, this is a whole family of fucking terrible people.
But let's get into the old man. And he shows up and he starts berating the hitchhiker. And he's like, you goddamn fool, I told you not to go grave robbing.
Yeah.
Which is, by the way, I'll admit to you, very, very pencil thin excuse to
I have
open.
written in my notes, the come together of the side characters being a family is a little sloppy.
But it
works well.
Yeah, it works good enough for you to be like, all right, bye. They're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you fucking idiot. And then like they go in the house, and I don't remember the exact exchange. I watched 3 movies like over 2 days, so it's kind of a little fuzzy. But there's a great exchange where he like starts asking him about shit. He's like, no, Dad, no one knows or anything. And then like the dad pauses, and there's a brilliant moment where he thinks, he's like, well, look what your brother did to the door, and starts to beat the shit out of him because Leatherface hit the door with the chainsaw at a moment or something.
Yeah, when he was chasing down Sally the first time.
Yeah. And like it's just that nice little moment that makes you go like, oh God, they just have a shit dad that's not gonna like anything they do.
Yeah, but speaking
they're
of
cannibals, so fuck them.
they're terrible people. But like speaking of like,
but they deserve love.
How well the Leatherface character was portrayed in this movie. This is the first time you see him do his costume change.
Oh yeah,
he gets in the lady face,
because
the
they're gonna have
dress.
they're gonna have a nice
cooking dinner for him.
Yep.
So like he is so beaten down by the dad.
A lot of movies never touch how he just is so Ed Gein, where he just wants to be a woman apparently at points.
Well, he just wants love.
Yeah.
He just wants somebody to like him.
He just wants to look nice. Well, if you get into Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, someone does like him. Yes. We're going to save that for later. I'm sorry.
The sequels are a different story.
There's only one we count, but anywho. So we have the whole dinner, and they bring down Grandpa, and then that scene is just... Kelsey, what did you ask me about Grandpa?
Is he a vampire?
He's not a vampire. He's just really fucking old, and they're cannibals, so they like blood.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of the grandpa, I know this for a fact. That's just a dude in a costume.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I wrote in my notes, because, like, through the entire movie, you can see that these people are sweating so much because it's Texas heat.
Yeah.
But, like, I said, how did Leatherface and the grandpa not die of a heat stroke?
Yep. Well, here, Derek, I have this for you. This entire final scene, the grandpa dinner, is fucking horribly difficult because it took 27 hours straight to shoot.
Jesus Christ.
I shot a YouTube thing over a party one night, and it took us like 2 hours to do.
Yeah.
And I wanted to blow my brains out over 2 hours. And you remember that because I had you help with that.
Yeah.
And you remember how I got trashed afterwards and just spent the rest of the party bitching about shooting this thing. So I can't imagine 27 hours in a Texas house that, what was the quote I had? No real fucking ventilation.
Oh, no, you could tell, like, it was not a newer house.
There's no ventilation. It's old and worn down. They just have animal bones, once again, everywhere.
Yeah.
And the guy in the grandpa outfit probably... I didn't read this anywhere, but I assume he almost passed out 7 times.
Oh, he had to have, because, like, looking at the mask...
That's a mask.
It's like, shut open. There's no mouth, really.
It's the mask from fucking Goosebumps, where the girl puts on the monster mask and it's stuck there forever. That's the mask. But then that leads to my favorite part of this movie, where they can't get the blood pump to work right.
Oh, yeah.
So they just go, fuck it, Marilyn, we're going to cut your finger with a straight razor. So that's really them just slicing her finger open and an actor sucking on her bloody finger. And then you're just like, I don't feel comfortable watching this movie anymore.
And
so,
then she passes out.
She passes out.
And wakes up at the dinner scene.
Oh, God damn, this scene is great.
This also another one of Leatherface changing his outfit.
Oh, yeah, that's
the
right.
iconic suit.
Yeah, the
He's
suit.
in the suit. A
Now-
different face.
Now he's ready for the dinner.
Yeah.
He's not mom. He's the prideful son.
But this is where I have in my notes, Sally needs to shut the fuck up.
No, time out. Let's
She
argue
is
this.
hamming it up way too, especially when she wakes up and sees that the arms of the chair are people's arms.
Oh,
That is like,
no,
I
fuck
know
you.
it's a thing of the 70s.
God damn it, Derek. I don't agree.
I
No,
know it's a thing of the 70s.
that shot where like she wakes up and she's like, wait, these are arms, and she starts to scream and that camera pulls all the way back. That's a great shot.
Oh, don't get me wrong, that's a good shot.
So you're arguing the overall longevity of her
acting.
She does not stop screaming
It's
until the end of the movie. The credits
Yeah.
go.
Time out,
But
peanut
that-
gallery.
Shut the
There's
fuck
an
up.
old, no, there's a 100-year-old man trying to bash your skull in with a hammer. You're fucking screaming.
No,
But
I'm
there's-
probably cuss him out.
There is this thing of, in horror movies,
Defiant till the end.
screaming, but
Yeah.
like,
I love her.
she
screaming.
hammed it up a lot, and then it went straight to the fucking insane shot of them all laughing and her screaming, and like the cuts
This is
are
like,
so weird and
This-
different, and it's
but
kind
like-
of disorienting.
but like that's like, it works for the movie in a weird way because you're feeling like this weird like level of like, almost secondhand PTSD where you're like, what is happening? Like have you ever just wondered like a dog looking at two people having an argument and the dog's just like slowly trying to be like, why are my owners fighting like that?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like how like weirdly I get to this moment, but like it just feels like you're that dog where you're just like looking at this entire scene and you're like, what's happening? This is not good. What are we doing?
Oh.
Why are they just laughing at her?
Like, I think it's a good shot. Like, it's a good scene, but it's like the cuts are very disorienting and weird.
Uh-huh.
Especially because I don't know. Like, there's this one shot of the old man he's like, and it's like, I don't know if that was him just like Toby Hooper just messing with the camera and like, or that was supposed to be scripted, but like a lot of the shots feel like weird, invasive looking, and during that, which I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah, it worked. I mean, hey man, it works because of I don't know, the whole movie's about invading people's fucking faces and eating their flesh. So I don't fucking
Yeah.
So okay, so we get to the end of this film where
Well, we're skipping over my favorite scene.
oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
They do the whole thing where they
Yeah,
try to have
yeah.
Grandpa
Yeah,
love
oh, yeah.
her.
Yeah, sorry. I got caught up in me
Yeah.
yelling at Kelsey about that, but yeah.
But
it's a great scene
yeah,
where you're
Grandpa
like, oh,
keeps
because like,
dropping the
he
thing.
drops the he drops the hammer, and you're like, oh god damn it, if you're gonna kill her, just kill her. Like it's like that
Yeah.
weird feeling.
And then like she escapes, and this is where I have written down, she really likes jumping out of windows. Because she jumps out of a fucking window again, and I don't know if like
It's a good tactic if you think about it.
It's good, but
Yeah.
in real life,
You're cut the fuck up.
you could die.
Yeah.
Like you catch
Cut your neck,
a straight shard right to the neck. That's
Yeah.
cutting your jugular. You're gone.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, she jumps out and runs, and then this is the end scene you wanted to go to.
Which is, just fantastic because first off, Leatherface is going full fucking ham with there's a real chain on that saw during all of this shit, which is to the detriment of a cameraman at one moment we'll get to. I don't remember what happens first. Does the guy stop and there's a guy in
okay.
Yeah.
The hitchhiker
Okay.
gets her and like he's stabbing at her.
Yeah. And then the semi comes and hits him.
And fucking runs his ass over.
Which is, I know I said he's like the MVP of this movie, and he is saying, all he's really saying is get her, Grandpa, near the end, but how he's saying is terrific. And then like, the movie does the best part, like it does the Austin Powers joke where the thing's about to hit him, and then it cuts up right in front of him, it's like, oh, with his arms crossed, and how he sells that is terrific to me.
But
because he sells it character-wise, where he's like, oh, God! And then he's fucking, dead.
Oh, he, like, in real life, yeah, that person would have exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't have the budget for an
that car's
explosion.
going like
So
60, 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But also, this is all one of those things where it's like, oh, maybe this was an allegory for the meat industry because the semi that hits him is a fucking pig transport semi.
Thank you. And then the overweight truck driver gets out, and then somehow doesn't get murdered.
The overweight truck driver, I think, is the only minority in this movie.
Derek, I don't want you to ruin this movie for me.
No, it's, I was looking at it, I was like, I saw him get out, and I'm like, have I seen any black people or
No,
Mexicans?
you have not. This movie has not.
Because in Texas, you should show a couple Mexicans.
God damn it, Derek.
Where did that guy run
I mean,
off
honestly,
Honestly,
we drove through Texas.
Yeah, and all I saw was dead armadillos and Mexicans. You're right.
No,
no,
I mean, that's not all we
the
saw.
point.
That's not
We
the
saw
point
that
I'm trying
high.
to make.
No, that was an error.
I'm just trying to make the point that
I know. I just wanted to make you sound
is
like
a very
you,
large
you like to
Mexican
make me sound like
population.
the bad guy. I had to make you.
But anyway, yeah, I have on in my notes.
Goddamn.
The only minority is the truck driver.
By the way, but also he also survives. He just fucking gets the fuck out of there.
You don't know that.
No, he clearly gets the fuck out of there.
And and that goes to the end where also the guy in the truck who actually stops and she gets away in.
Yeah.
Why would you stop?
First off, no, I'm gonna counter that. Greatest civilian in any horror film.
Oh no, he's
this dude. This
don't
dude
get me wrong.
recognized the situation, thought on his feet, pressed the brakes, and let her get in.
But let's go to real life.
No, that guy's driving.
A bloody person runs up to you.
Oh, a bloody Marilyn's like screaming at me?
With
Yeah, no.
a ginormous man waving a chainsaw
Waving that
in a
chainsaw.
suit.
Yeah, no. I'm fucking going. Yeah.
Yeah.
I give you that. I'm just saying, in horror-wise, that guy's an MVP in all horror films because for a guy that doesn't get a speaking line, he's the fucking
Or
hero.
you don't even really see him.
Yeah, he's the fucking hero of this movie because Marilyn, as tough and as fucking ballsy as she is, I don't think she wins this without the help of a semi or a pickup truck driver.
No, sometimes you get help by fate.
Exactly. Well, that goes back. Oh, well, technically it doesn't go back because we recorded Scream before this. It goes back to the thing of she's tenacious, she's tough, and she's got just enough luck to make her plausible. So I like her. But then that gets to the beautiful end shot.
I have it written in my notes. Love the ending shot of Leatherface just freaking the fuck out with the chainsaw.
His brother's dead.
Yeah. And I also love it for the fact of the behind the scenes story about that.
Oh, where the behind the scenes story is frankly he has a real chain on that chainsaw, and Gunnar Hansen is swinging it around, and the cameraman is inches away from it, and at any moment could have been hit by it and killed.
Gunnar's quote about it is like, Tobe Hooper told me to go crazy, and I said, oh, this has been the longest shoot of my life. I'm going to go fucking nuts, and if I hit Tobe Hooper, I can blame it on an accident.
Yes. Exactly.
So his plan was to kill somebody that time. Like, legitimately kill, and I love it.
Yeah.
Because you can tell in his, like, he's just freaking the fuck out.
Well, and that goes back to, like, you shot for 27 hours. Yeah, it's fucking brilliant that, like, all this anger and emotion just comes out in a man wearing people skin on his face is just waving a chainsaw. Yeah. It's a great ending to a movie I genuinely just love. I just really do love it.
Yeah. And like, I do have this written, though.
Yes.
Like, for how slow the movie is, because it is a 70s movie, it's going to be
slow. Yeah.
The ending feels a little rushed. I don't know if that was just... Like, the last bit of the movie is only, like, 10 minutes long.
Oh, yeah. It's one of those... I think that's just a thing of the era where, like, all of the movie is just the build, basically. And then the final, like, 20, 15 minutes is just this explosion of fucking chaos and this horror that we have just been setting up for the entire time.
Yeah.
So, I love this. I love it. But, Derek, let me see if I got it wrote down in here. I hope I did. Derek, how much do you think this movie made domestically?
Domestically?
Yes.
Probably not a lot.
You'd be wrong.
I feel like it's a movie that, like, got bigger later in its time.
No, this movie made $30 million.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it made $30 million on, like, let's go ahead and bump it up to the highest number I read, $30,000. So, I'm not good with math, but percentage-wise, that's a hell of an increase.
Yeah.
300,000.
Like,
What did I say?
30,000.
Oh, 300,000, yeah.
even bigger.
Yeah, even bigger. Yeah.
But, like, the fact that, like, this movie was made in 1974.
It came out, so I would say 73 was when it was made.
IMDb has it as 74.
Yeah. It came out, yeah.
Yeah. So, but it came around that time.
Yes.
Like, I figured it was one of those cult hits that got bigger as it went along, because the fucking sequel doesn't come out until 1986.
Well, that's on Toby Hooper.
Yeah, but, like, that's one of those things. It's like, if you just are looking outside, looking in.
Yeah.
From nowadays.
Jesus Christ, the sequel. I'm not going to talk about the sequel now because I plan on doing it at some point.
Yeah.
But, like, if we ever have a live show, we're going to do the sequel. That's, like, that's my goal. But, like, that's hubris talking, but still. Can you imagine making a bunch of people come to a theater and then watch the second Texas Chain Saw Massacre and then coming out?
People do. I know. I love it just because
I went to a showing of Maximum Overdrive and I was like, these people fucking love it.
Yeah.
You give me that look, but people love that movie.
I do love the second one a lot too, because it fucking, like, the poster.
It's just the Breakfast Club.
It's the Breakfast Club poster with the family.
Yeah. Also, I love the second one because it goes back to the weird thing I said in Return of the Living Dead. It gives context to, like, does Marilyn, does Sally survive this movie? Yes. But is it a good ending? No, because she dies of shock.
Yeah.
Like, that's the...
Which is the most realistic ending to a movie.
Yeah. Of course she would die of fucking shock.
Yeah.
All the shit she just went through. God, this movie's fucking great. I love it. We need to end this.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we've been talking longer than the movie actually is. Just about.
It says 84 minutes. So
yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We got to wrap this up. But, Derek, I just want to do one little thing where, I'm glad we're doing this. This is the weird, mushy part of the horror podcast where I go, this is great. No, this is fun. I like talking horror. I'm glad you're here with me. It just makes me not want to, fucking die. All right. Well, that's Garrett Carter. Derek, you got anything you want to plug?
You can follow me on all social medias by going to Radio Guy Derek.
Mm-hmm.
DEREK. Spelled the white guy way. I've seen it every way, so. But, yeah, I've seen it every way. But it's DEREK. Okay. And then you can also hear me on... If you're in the Danville area, on Newhoff Media, which is 94.9 K-Rock, WDAN, which is 1490 AM, and D102, where I am on Sunday nights. So listen to me. Awesome possum. All right. Well, I'm Garrett Carter. That's not the weirdest thing I said today. No, but that should be your ending thing. That should be my ending? Awesome. Fuck it, I'm going to stay with the other one. So I'll throw Awesome Possum in every once in a while. The t-shirt should be awesome and then just a dead possum. Yes. Anywho, so Jesus. I'm Garrett Carter. You can follow me on Twitter at Pugly92. I think I'm on Instagram at Hoochie92. I don't know. I hardly get on Instagram. And we're just, Oh, yes, and our show Instagram that Derek's reminding me for the second time tonight. It's at Night Fright Pod. Mm-hmm. So look us up there. Derek's going to be We will have a Twitter coming up soon. Yeah. And we'll keep you posted on that. And actually, by the time this comes out, we'll probably have a Twitter. I would hope so. We are very lazy people sometimes. But if you do go to Night Fright Podcast or Night Fright Pod on Instagram, I will link it to the Twitter. Thank you very much, Derek. All right. I've been Garrett Carter. Thank you for joining us tonight, and I hope you ghouls and goblins had fun. So. Can you not laugh like the Crypt Keeper in my fucking ear? All right, I'm Garrett Carter. Stay spooky, everyone. That was the corniest thing I've ever heard. What, Ghosts and Goblins? Yeah, no fucking shit. Stay spooky. Stay spooky. I like stay spooky. Stay spooky. Hey, producer Derek here. I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping right now. We recorded these before we had our Instagram and Twitter set up, so if you could go over there and follow us on both of those platforms, that would be awesome. They're both under Night Fright Pod. Thanks.